welcome to this TradeWin channel. This is my first video out there and I'm really excited to present it to you. This video is about presenting the TradeWin service, the TradeWin Backtest Service. In this video, I will first give a brief introduction to explain what TradeWin is about, and then if that still interests you, you could go further and watch all the video. First, we will address what TradeWin is, then I will explain why backtesting is quite an issue and why TradeWin exists. Then I will go into details explaining what TradeWin offers, what are its benefits, and then I will give a quick overview of a work example I already done. A brief TradeWin overview. So what is TradeWin? TradeWin is a powerful backtesting service that relies on coding and great automation. In fact, I built TradeWin for myself because I didn't find out there any tool that could help me backtest my strategies, and because I have a great computing background, I decided to do it myself. The service is about translating any mechanical strategy into code. That's the first step. And then once this code is written, to run variations of the trading strategy on many quotes in a record time with detailed data analysis. There is today no tool, no service, no software, anything that could help traders to backtest their strategies. Because I see so many things out there concerning YouTube, for example, so many trading gurus that will tell you, yeah, follow my strategy, that's 88 win rates. This is consistent, I backtested, it worked. No, none of this. I believe traders deserve the truth, deserve to know the truth about everything. I believe every trader deserves to know the truth about what they are told in social media or YouTube. TradeWin is a debunking tool that will help to identify and to find again the truth and to remove all the noise that is so overwhelming in this social media trading space. That's what TradeWin is about. If you are still interested in what I say, I will go on and talk about why TradeWin backtest. A bit of context about that. First, you need to understand that, as you may know, there are many kinds of actors in the trading industry, and I will just classify them into two categories first. The first one, really well known, is all the banks, the investment funds, the hedge funds that have people working for them to code all what they want. And most of the time, these tools rule the markets and are not aimed to be shared to the world. So anytime a hedge fund wants to trade a strategy, more than manipulating the market as they do, sorry, that's not the topic of this video, hedge funds hire people to do the job they don't know how to do, which is programming. So they hire programmers to ask them, hey, could you please backtest this strategy and help me develop the software I need? So people go and code that. So the second category is retail traders, which is us. In fact, I am a trader myself. And most of us rely on self-education thanks to content creators on YouTube, for example. And most retail traders do not have any coding skill, which means that they don't have this programmer army that banks and funds have. And that's a huge difference on the way retail and institutions trade. I'll give an example of a guy I follow. This is Tom Basso. He's a retired CEO of Trendstat Capital Management in the USA. Tom Basso, still alive and still active on X and by email, as he's retired now. Tom Basso goes on talking to anyone, doing podcast interviews and explaining his strategies. One day, I listened to a podcast and the question was, how do you backtest your strategies? What do you recommend for retail traders? And I thought, wow, this could have been a question I would ask him. And his answer was quite amazing. He answered that it costed his company several millions of dollars to build the backtesting software he was using. Such tools are very costly to build and maintain and are never for sale. The main answer of Tom was, well, you can't, in fact. There is no tool today for retail traders to backtest their strategies. Why TradeWin is like asking the question, why do you backtest? Why backtesting is essential for any serious trader? And most of you familiar with trading know the answer. That's because backtesting helps you making informed decisions. Doesn't mean that because backtest was profitable, you will be profitable. That's not the case. But backtest increases your confidence into the strategy you have been testing. There are two main options for retail traders. The first option is to backtest manually the strategies. And the second one is to trust YouTube gurus and their trust me bro strategies blindly. In my opinion, there are too many traders out there who are blindly trusting what their guru said on YouTube because they have wonderful cars, because they show their way of life, which seems expensive. And oh, I want the same. What do I need to do to quit my job? How many YouTube videos today start with quit your job with this strategy? Man, what's that? Stop bullshitting people, please. What TradeWin wants here is to bring a new option, a new alternative to backtesting, which is in fact just actual backtesting the strategy, not trusting anyone on YouTube or do it manually and partially charting. That's why TradeWin here brings a new alternative to backtesting. So the fact is that, as you may know and as you may have experienced yourself, most traders, maybe you, make incomplete to no backtesting at all. And I would add to that so do most YouTube gurus. And only serious traders have a critical view on what they are told by their favorite gurus. If you are one of them, then the end of this video is for you. Then you need to continue watching the video. I'm about to bring serious information out there. I like memes. I try to find an image to illustrate the chances your favorite gurus on YouTube never made the hard work of backtesting seriously the strategies they are selling to you in their videos. And the best thing I found is this one. So chances are really high that none of your YouTube gurus are doing the work properly. And that's a shame because tens of thousands of people are following them and believing them. I was saying that most traders make incomplete to no backtesting at all. And this is quite cruel because after an incomplete backtest, you have two outcomes. Either it's profitable, either the backtest is not profitable. If the backtest is unprofitable, then traders usually drop the strategy and look for another one. And if it's profitable, they say, oh, I found something awesome. So they rush, they trade it, they risk their own capital, and they purchase prop firm challenges in order to become new millionaires. TradeWin aims at giving you an overall view on the strategy results no one will ever give you, so you could make really informed decisions. That's the purpose of my service. If you're familiar with trading, you know that there are different bricks needed to be profitable long term. You have psychology, you have discipline, you have the strategy itself with its proven edge, and risk management. Where does TradeWin here help you on the two last? TradeWin's goal is to prove you that the strategy you want to trade is profitable or not. And if it is, upon which condition, under which parameters. If it is not profitable, then it's not for you. That's all. Who is the typical TradeWin clients? TradeWin clients, at least the ones I have worked with for now, are serious traders who measure both the importance of backtesting strategy variations and the huge cost of backtesting manually. To these traders is promised the taste of data power automation so they could make informed decisions. That's what any trader needs. How does it work? What are the different steps? Here is the TradeWin way. How I work, what I do. Focus on this, it's very important. So first, in order to backtest anything, I need a strategy. Yeah, I will call it the core strategy. You can find it on X, on YouTube, who cares? I don't care. All I want is a strategy in order to backtest it. But I'm stopping you immediately. What do I mean by a strategy? The strategy needs to be TradeWin compatible, which means that it needs to be mechanical. When I say mechanical, I'm saying that the strategy needs to be clearly defined. The plan needs to be clearly defined and could be written on paper. There is no place for feelings when executing code via computer programs. So TradeWin is definitely not for discretionary traders that take decisions based on we don't know really what. This is TradeWin is for mechanical strategies. What is a mechanical strategy? First, an entry condition or many entry conditions. I don't care, it could be indicator based, could be concepts from ICT, don't care about that. The second important thing here is the exit conditions. In particular, stop loss and take profit conditions. If you have this clearly defined and could write it on paper, then your strategy is mechanical. Yeah, that's all. Defining a strategy isn't that complicated. Sticking to it is another thing. And I don't talk in this video about discipline and psychology, but writing a plan is what's needed to use TradeWin. Coming back to my TradeWin way. Once I got the core strategy, next step is to translate it into code. Anything could be translated into code as the plan is clearly written. For those who are familiar with coding, I like using Python. So once I have translated the strategy into code, I need, of course, to ensure that the code behaves as expected. For that, I exchange messages with my clients. We study specific trade examples and I verify the code behaves as expected. Once this is done, I run simulations modifying parameters as needed. For those who really like the technical aspect of all that, I run my simulations on Amazon Web Services. So I rely on cloud capabilities to do that. Then, next step, once the simulations are performed, is to score the backtest and to analyze the results. So again, I use Python to do that. And once all of this is compiled, I can deliver results with some graphs, some explanations, and of course, all the details about the trades that TradeWin performed. Here are the 6 steps that make the TradeWin way. Now, let's talk about TradeWin Benefits. TradeWin save your time, and anyone here who has already tried to backtest anything knows that it's really time consuming. Let's say you are a strong trader, you say, okay, let's go, I found this strategy, I would like to backtest it, and if it works, I will trade it. Sounds great, congrats. But the problem is that doing all this is really time consuming. Let's say your strategy has daily opportunities, okay? Fine. And you want to backtest it. So you take your trading view chart, you chart your strategy, you identify levels, you move time forward, you set your positions, and you click until SL, stop loss, or TP, take profit, is hit. Then, when it's done, you report results on tools, which in fact they are not. Lots of people are getting really excited about FX replay. I personally believe that it's not really useful. I'm sorry for that. FX replay only gives you the win or loss of a trade without any trade details. That's all. So stop publishing curves, stop publishing graphs with your equity going up on FX replay. We don't have the trade details. So in order to have the trade details, you need to specifically complete an Excel sheet with entry price, exit price, at which time you take the trade, at which time you got out of the trade. So this is really time consuming. And I estimate if you want to do this properly, and I think I'm pretty generous and I overestimate most of you, it would take 3 minutes to do all that for one single day. Again, I estimate the time to backtest properly with all the detailed elements of the trade for one trading day to 3 minutes for a strategy that has one trade opportunity per day. Okay? Of course, this goes higher if your strategy can give you entry opportunities many times during the day. So I will keep 3 minutes. If you are a beast, maybe it's less. I will let you do the next calculations based on what you believe you can do. But this is one estimate. Making things clear. 3 minutes per backtesting day. 250 trading days per year. 15 years of historical data. This will take you an incredible amount of time to do this. Around 187.5 hours to backtest a single strategy for one single quote. Is this sustainable long term? No. Has anyone ever backtested manually his strategy for 15 years with a strategy that has daily opportunities? I'm ready to bet that no one in the world has ever done that. Okay? So stop talking about backtesting. You never did it seriously. And that's because it's impossible to do that. Okay? Fine. Once this is said, you need to know, in fact, why you won't do that. Why would you invest so much time in backtesting a strategy if at the end of your backtest there is a huge possibility that the strategy you spent hours backtesting is not profitable? You just would have lost so many hours for nothing. That's why nobody is willing to backtest for a really long period of time. Most people prefer believing what their favorite YouTubers say in their "Trust Me Bro" stories. Yeah, I promise you it works. I hear that all the time and it makes me angry. How can you fool those people? And I'm talking to all YouTubers. How can you fool people telling them, yeah, I backtested that, trust me bro, it works? No, you didn't. Stop lying. Stop lying. In a small table, here is a comparison between what a trader could do manually and what TradeWin does. So there is quite no challenge here because TradeWin outperforms significantly anyone who is willing to backtest manually. Okay? So the average time needed to complete a backtest for one strategy, for one quote, is several hundreds of hours of manual charting. TradeWin does that at most in 7 minutes. And if you want to test variations of your strategy, if you want to test several quotes, several trading instruments, it will be impossible to do that manually. And TradeWin can do this one night. That's the main extraordinary thing about TradeWin. Its computing power is awesome. It gives you scalability, and I can accomplish, thanks to computing, more calculations in one night than anyone could do manually in their life. Once we said that, TradeWin really is a game changer in terms of backtesting power. That's all. And if you want to keep trying backtesting your strategies, you can. But TradeWin can really give you the view you really want and give you answers you are looking for when backtesting. The second benefit of TradeWin is about running parameterized backtests. What does that mean? So what is a parameter when we talk about a strategy? In fact, parameter is anything that is part of your strategy. Any aspect of your strategy is a parameter. It's that simple, and it really is. TradeWin automation is awesome, and I will prove it to you right now. Talking about parameters, I like talking about quotes. Let's say you tested your strategy on ES futures, which is the S&P 500 futures. Wouldn't you want to test the strategy also on other futures? I don't know, for example, on Nasdaq futures, on Dow Jones futures, maybe on some Forex pairs, on crude oil, on gold, I don't know, anything you want, to just know if the strategy you could be profitable in any of those quotes. That's what TradeWin allows you, to test many quotes with your same strategy. Also, about the backtest period. I found data from backtest market. You could have a look on that in the video description, which tells futures that historical data and forex data for quite a long time. And I've been working with this the last few weeks, and really seems to be a good data, so I recommend that. Just with those two parameters, which are the period and the quotes, I'm already above anything you could do manually. Yeah, anything anyone could do in the world is just outperformed by TradeWin, because I can backtest for like 15 years and on any quote your trading strategy. Let's say now we change the entry condition on your strategy. For example, your trading strategy is about entering when a fair value gap, when price goes back into a fair value gap. Okay? But when do you enter the fair value gap? Do you want to enter it when it's filled like at 0%, at 50%, at 100%? TradeWin gives you the capability to test any of these variations. Same for the exit conditions. Let's say you like trading 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio. Wouldn't you want to know what happened to the overall results when you test 1-1 or 1-3 risk to reward ratio? This is another parameter TradeWin can change when running simulations. And for example, I don't know, do you want to reverse the behavior of your strategy for a specific day? Maybe, why not? You could do anything. That's what's awesome about TradeWin and coding. Talking about these parameters is really important, and give you some keys to why TradeWin is so a beautiful thing. If you have been familiar with backtesting, I'm sure one of the following points will ring a bell into your trading experience. So the first one is, and please honestly answer the question, wouldn't you want to know if the strategy you spent 10 hours backtesting to finally state that, okay, it doesn't work, actually works, but on different quotes than the one you backtested? Second point, wouldn't you want to know if the strategy you spent 10 hours backtesting to finally say it works actually doesn't work on the long run? Third question, wouldn't you want to check your strategy on multiple quotes at once without spending the time to backtest them individually and manually? Fourth question, wouldn't you be upset if you are on a 4-trade losing streak when your backtesting results say that the max losing streak is 3 trades? If any of these questions ring a bell to you, then you know that TradeWin can give you an answer to any of them. In fact, to all of them. And why is that possible? Again, because I have entirely coded the strategy and I can run simulations modifying those parameters as I want. Okay, that's the end of this TradeWin Benefits part. I will switch to a TradeWin work example I've already done. Let's say a guy came and asked me to backtest his strategy. Here are some characteristics of his strategies, and each time I verified if it was TradeWin compatible. So the first thing to note for my initial assessment of any strategy is to identify the type of strategy. Is it like indicator based? If so, what are the indicators? If it is ICT based, then what are the ICT concepts being used? So for example, for this specific strategy, there was many trading concepts like fair value gaps, market structure shifts, session liquidity levels, swing high and lows, reward to risk ratio. So this is fine. And you can code, you can detect those trading concepts. Identifying a fair value gap as you do on a chart, you can do it coding. And the same thing applies to MSS, to liquidity levels, to swing high and lows and everything. Okay. If you need to remember one thing from this whole very long video, is that anything can be coded as long as it is clearly defined. And that's where the trading power resides. Then, for the strategy, and come back to the strategy, clear entry and exit conditions. So what is really the strategy about? So the guy came and in fact just sent me a YouTube video link. Maybe you know the YouTube channel Nexus Blast Trading, and this guy is known to give out trading protocols with a detailed plan to follow. And once I figured it out how the strategy worked, my client explained to me with some chart example how it worked. I was ready to perform the test. I was ready to code it as I perfectly understand it. That's a really important point. More than a programmer, more than my computing background, I'm also a trader, which means that I perfectly understand trading concepts and I know how to code them. I work towards the goal of uniting those skills in order to provide a unique backtesting service. The quote: the client wanted to test the strategy on many futures, so ES, NQ, YM, and also the main forex pairs Euro USD and GBP USD. And as stated before, the historical depth of TradeWin tests starts at 2007 for futures and 2002 for forex pairs. So that was the context to test the strategy with these parameters. But what about the parameters themselves? Here, without getting into details, the entry conditions were: after liquidity sweep, wait for market structure shift and enter on fair value gap. Fine, this is clear, perfectly clear. But what about entering the FVG when it gets filled at 0%, when it gets filled at 50%? Wouldn't you want to test both to see if entering mid FVG is better in the overall results than just entering it at 0%? The exit conditions to test were different risk to reward ratios. So 1.1, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. With all of that, we have here 10 variations of the core strategy to be tested. 10 because 2 entry condition times 5 risk reward ratios. That makes 10. And with what we said previously, 10 variations, 5 quotes, TradeWin just backtested for this guy 50 strategies from 2002 or 2007, depending on the instrument. Do you believe me now when I say that TradeWin automation is awesome? 50 strategies. You couldn't do even one backtest manually, and TradeWin makes 50 of them. That's awesome. So in the delivery, what TradeWin provides is a statement of work detailing what was the method, what was the strategy being backtested with which parameters. The statement of work is here in case if there is a misunderstanding about what the client wants and what I did. When I will say accepting the statement of work, then the client cannot come back to me saying, oh no, that was not the strategy I wanted you to backtest. I will show the statement of work. I will say, hey, what are you talking about? You accepted that. So once this is clear, I also gave Excel spreadsheets with all the details about positions taken for each quote and each variation of strategy. So this results in a huge Excel spreadsheet with, for each trade, the entry date, the exit date, the entry price, the exit price, and if the trade was a win or a loss or a break even. This gives you the capability of verifying any trade TradeWin perform during simulations. More than that, TradeWin is also about giving overall statistics to assess each strategy results. For example, giving out the gain-loss ratio, the overall win rate, the overall win rate per weekday, the overall win rate for long or short positions. Anything can be done around those statistics. The max losing streak, I talked about that. The max winning streak. Also, for some visual details, I gave graphs that show the cumulative performance for each strategy, some gain-loss ratio and gain-loss distribution for each strategy. So here is an example of a performance for a strategy that I called Edge 1 in the statement of work that was backtested on Euro USD. And here is the cumulative performance. When I see this curve, and when anyone sees this curve, We can say that, first of all, we can notice that the y-axis is about R multiples, R being the risk you take per trade. During the conclusion of the backtest for edge 1 on Euro USD is that a 200 R gain for the past 20 years. Okay, that's an average of 10 R per year. If you had risked 1% per trade, 10 R is like 10% per year. Okay, that's what this graph tells us. Fine. We can also see that during major crises, you can see the COVID 2020 crisis, the 2008 crisis, we can see that the curve is steadily going up. My take about that is that this strategy is consistent over time, it's profitable over time, and could be a huge edge to trade it. So my advice to my client was, this strategy works over the long term. Maybe it's not the profits you are looking at, but it's crisis proof. So what I say to my clients concerning this graph is that it's crisis proof, has been resisting COVID and 2008 crisis, has been steadily going up for over the long term, maybe not providing the results, the profits you were expecting, but it's still working. Okay? Often, that's an important thing. People get really disappointed because they thought that this strategy would make them millionaires really quickly, with some huge gains really quickly. Hell, this doesn't exist. You need to look for consistency for strategies that work over the long term. This strategy works over the long term. That's what the curve says. Another graph I provide is, for example, for the different strategies tested. So here you can recognize on the x-axis 5 take profit conditions and 2 entry conditions with edge 1, meaning I enter at 0% FVG, and edge 1 mid FVG, I enter when half of the FVG gets filled. And I provide here the gain-loss ratio for the strategy. Above 1, your strategy is profitable. So we can see that edge 1 and edge 2 are above this one line, meaning this strategy is profitable for edge 1 and edge 2. We can also say that entering at mid FVG for edge 2, which is this point here, gives better results, overall results, than entering immediately when FVG gets touched. Okay? That's the kind of insight TradeWin can give you, and that this is not the case when trading edge 1 strategy with specific take profit strategy. Here, entering at mid FVG didn't allow to have more gains. That's all the kind of graphs TradeWin provides. So thank you if you're still here with me. That's kind of very long video, but I really needed to explain all of this, to explain what TradeWin is about. And the few guys I've worked with are quite happy with the results I provide. I will say that another way. They are not happy with the results. They are happy with the test I have performed for them, because they could have never done this on their own. And now they have a more clear view on what the strategy really is about. And I really like here what's said on the left. Thousands of people post videos on YouTube about they have a 90% win rate with huge profits, and unfortunately everyone gets sucked in. And as Abdul said, I'm here to change the narrative. I'm here to bring back the truth, to debunk what gurus tell you on YouTube, and it's just the beginning. This is the kind of reviews I've had for now. I'm just getting started. I'm a computer programmer, I'm a trader. There is a unique combination of both skills in TradeWin. If that interests you, please feel free to email me, to direct message me via X. I'm really available. I would like to make this TradeWin service something huge. There is a ton of work to do, and I'm really to invest myself into this war against fake news in the trading industry. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support, and see you soon. Goodbye.